The mountain was never silent. Beneath its frozen skin, something ancient stirred, breathing, waiting. For generations, my people called it a god. We fed it fire, we sang our prayers into its smoke, and in return it gave us warmth, or so we believed. But that night the sky changed color. Ash and red danced together like blood in the snow. Birds screamed and fled the cliffs, and the ground trembled like the heartbeat of a sleeping beast. The elder raised his hand, eyes wide with fear. The god is waking, yet I did not bow. I watched the mountain glow from within, and a thought whispered through my bones. If gods can wake, they can die, and if they can die, maybe we can live. At the edge of the frozen valley, our tribe lived in rhythm with the wind and the flame. When the sun slept, the cold tried to swallow us whole, but the fire kept the darkness away. It was not just warmth, it was our heartbeat, our God, our law. Every dawn hunters brought wood and prey. Mothers sang to the fire while they cooked, and children traced its light on the cave walls, drawing stories of the gods who first gave us flame. The fire stood at the center of our world, small yet eternal. Its glow touched every face, every birth, every farewell. The elder said, as long as the fire breathes, so do we. And we believed him, for no one had ever seen it die. Even in storms, even when the mountains roared, someone always stayed feeding it, with hands trembling from the cold, whispering prayers into its smoke. That night while the tribe slept, I sat beside the flame and asked, if fire dies, do we die too? The elder turned slowly, his eyes reflecting the flicker of light. He smiled, not with comfort, but with truth. We die, Arok, not because the fire fades, but because faith does. The words sank into me like embers in snow. For the first time, I looked at the flame and wondered which one of us was truly keeping the other alive. That night, the sky forgot its stars. Clouds devoured the moon, and the wind began to scream. From the mountain came a roar deep alive like a god's breath. Snow hurled down the valley, slicing through the dark like knives of ice. Inside the cave, we circled the sacred flame, shielding it with our bodies. The elder shouted, feed, don't let it fade. Hands trembled, children cried, and the smoke turned thick and desperate. The fire fought back, sparks dancing against the storm, until one final gust tore through the entrance. The light vanished. Silence. Only the echo of wind and the sound of hearts breaking. Someone screamed. Others fell to their knees, whispering prayers that vanished into the cold. The elder raised his arms to the mountain, tears frozen on his face. We have angered the gods, he said. The flame is dead, and so are we. But I could not accept it. I stared at the black ashes, feeling something shift inside me. A quiet rage, a defiance burning where the fire once lived. I stood. If the gods will not give us fire, I said, then we will take it. The wind roared again, but this time, it sounded almost like it was listening. When dawn came, it brought no light, only silence. The cave lay hollow, its walls still breathing the smoke of a dead god. No one spoke, no one moved, until I did. I wrapped my furs, took what was left of the warmth, and stepped into the storm. The cold struck like claws, biting through skin, through faith, through fear. Behind me, I heard footsteps, soft, hesitant. Lyra, my sister. Her eyes were red, but burning with something stronger than grief. Then Gore appeared, carrying his broken spear, still refusing to kneel. And Suna, the keeper of the last ember, cupped her hands around a small stone, still warm from the ashes. We did not speak. Words felt too heavy for this silence. Only the wind howled, screaming warnings we no longer feared. Snow wrapped around us like ghosts, and the world turned white, endless, merciless. Each step sank deep into the frost, each breath a battle. But somewhere ahead, beyond the veil of ice and cloud, a faint red shimmer flickered against the sky. The mountain of the gods, where fire was born, and where we would claim it back. Lyra whispered, do you think the gods will see us? I answered, let them watch. We walked on 4 shadows, swallowed by the storm, our hearts the only flames left alive. The mountain showed no mercy. Each breath tore our chests open, each step sank deeper into death. Snow fell so heavy it felt alive, pressing, choking, whispering, "Turn back." Gore was the first to fall. He fought a white beast in the storm and lost. Blood stained the snow, vanishing almost instantly into the cold. We carried him as far as we could until the weight became silence.
Please don't go out.
Suna wept, her hands trembled,
me.
the ember stone she carried now cold as her hope. Night came cruel and endless. The wind screamed like the dead. Lyra collapsed beside the ashes of our last fire. I held her, feeling her pulse fade beneath my fingers. Her lips moved, but no words came, only frost. I stared at the blackened stones, and something inside me broke, not from fear but defiance. My thoughts whispered against the storm. If the gods wanted us to die, why do we still breathe? The wind answered with silence, and in that silence I stood, my legs trembling, my feet bleeding, but my eyes burning brighter than the sun we had lost. Ahead the mountain waited, vast, unyielding, watching. I clenched my fists, felt the cold bite my skin, and kept walking. For the first time, the fire was not behind us, it was within. The mountain's peak was silent, a tomb of ice and wind. Arok knelt upon the frozen stone, two black rocks in his hands. He struck them together once. Nothing, again, only the sound of failure echoing through the cold. Lyra's voice cracked, her breath white against the night. "Brother, it's hopeless," but Arok did not stop. He struck harder. Skin tore, blood spilled across the stones, red against white. Then a whisper of light, a spark fragile as a heartbeat. It flickered, then vanished. He closed his eyes, drew one last breath, and struck again. This time the spark lit. It kissed the dry grass, spread and bloomed, a flower of flame beneath the frozen sky. The fire rose wild and golden, painting their faces with warmth and tears. Lyra gasped, Suna fell to her knees, and Arok stared, trembling, not at a god's gift, but at mankind's first creation. Far away in the cave below, the elder lifted his head. The reflection of fire danced in his eyes, and he smiled through the darkness. For the first time, the mountain was no longer the keeper of light, man was. They carried the flame through the storm, hands cupped around its fragile glow like guarding a heartbeat. Every gust of wind tried to steal it, but Arok shielded it with his body, his breath, his blood. The path home was long the valley, unrecognizable under the veil of snow. But as the night thinned, the fire's light began to paint color back into the world. For the first time, the white did not feel cold. It shimmered, alive, golden. When they reached the cave, the tribe gathered in silence, faces pale, eyes hollow, waiting for a miracle they no longer believed in. Arok stepped forward, knelt, and placed the fire in the center of the stone pit. Flames rose, soft at first, then strong, dancing, alive. The darkness that had swallowed them for days was pushed back, and the cave filled with breath again. The elder fell to his knees, tears carving lines through the dust on his face. "The gods are with us again," he whispered.
The fire was always
Arok
with
looked
us.
at him, calm, resolute. He shook his head. "No, elder, the fire was always with us." The tribe bowed not to the mountain, but to the flame and to themselves. Outside, the storm began to fade, and dawn broke, gentle, forgiving, like the world itself was beginning again. The fire burned quietly inside the cave, no longer a god to be feared, but a companion breathing alive like one of us. Arok sat before it silent. The flames danced across his eyes, and in them was not worship but understanding. Outside, winter began to soften. The frozen river cracked, releasing its voice again. Water flowed slow, silver-free. Snow melted from the trees, dripping onto the soil below. Deer stepped cautiously from the woods. Birds returned to sing above the thawing valley. Life, once buried beneath the cold, began to breathe again. In the cave, the tribe gathered around the fire. No one prayed, no one bowed. They simply watched, as warmth replaced fear, as faith became knowledge. Arok's voice broke the silence, calm and clear.
Fire.
The gods did not give us fire. We became gods when we learned to create it. The flames flickered, casting soft red light across the stone walls. A new dawn painted in ember and hope. As the camera pulled away, The mountain slept beneath the clouds once more, and in the snow's reflection, a faint, steady glow remained. Children laughed around the new fire, their voices echoing where prayers once were. No longer afraid, they reached toward the warmth, their faces glowing with wonder, not worship. Arok stood apart watching. He lifted a sharp stone and carved a symbol into the cave wall fire, a mark of memory, a promise. As the camera pulled back, the flame flickered against the stone, becoming the first light of civilization.